Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Candela. I'm a hypnotherapist and a transformation coach. Welcome to my channel. You're about to listen to a recording of one of my regression sessions. Enjoy. I want you to tell me the very first thing that you see as you reach the surface.
Nothing, really.
I'm going to direct you to the time around 2006 when you found yourself feeling someone next to you in your room. And when you find yourself there, just tell me what you're becoming aware of first.
I can see the room.
Describe the room to me.
It's big old house, and it's a second story, and the room's really big.
What do you see in the room?
There's my bed and the dresser, and there's a window. There's a lot of light comes through the window. They're big windows.
And are you looking at the room through your body, through your eyes, or from outside of your body?
I'm kind of floating up in the corner. I see down on it.
And so what do you see your body doing right now?
I just see an empty bed.
So there is nobody in bed right now?
Mm-mm.
What happens next?
It's half the room seems really dark, and then I can see the other half, but there's nothing going on.
So the other half is lit up?
Kinda, yeah. There's this big window, and light would always come in that window because I didn't have any curtains, the street light that's outside.
So the room is empty?
Yeah.
We're going to forward the time a little bit to the moment when something of significance happens. 1, 2, and 3. And just tell me what happens next.
I feel maybe I'm laying in the bed right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel yourself in bed, or are you still observing from the outside?
I think I'm kind of still observing.
Okay, that's great. That's a good place to be. So as you're observing, you're seeing yourself in bed?
I just see an empty bed with the light coming in.
Okay. So is there anything else happening in the room?
No, it seems stuck in time because the dog isn't even moving. You know what I mean? It's just dead.
So time is frozen?
Yeah.
And has the bed been slept in?
It looks like the sheet is thrown back when you get out of bed in the morning. I was in the bed.
So does it appear to be night?
Yeah, because it's a street light.
Okay. So you're not in bed and your dog is frozen?
There's no cars, there's no movement.
Okay. So we're going to rewind the time to the moment when you were still in bed before the time stopped. As I count to 3, you're just going to rewind and see events that happened before the time froze. 1, 2, and 3. Tell me what you see and experience.
I guess it's the same.
What are you seeing?
This bed and this light.
And is that a street lamp light, or does it look different?
I think it's a street light, but it is pretty bright for the amount of light that's coming in. But it was a big window.
From that spot in the corner, you can float up to the window and look out. And I want you to become aware of the source of this light.
I feel I know for sure.
You need to get out of the house. You don't have a body. You can travel anywhere. You can float out through the window, look around, and notice things that you couldn't possibly know before.
Just a lot of light. I can't really tell where it's from.
Your awareness will begin to expand, and you will simply know. Just become aware of the light source outside the window.
I can't really move from this one spot. Like, I want to float over to this window, but I can't really get there.
And that's okay, because you truly have nowhere to go. You are in your awareness. And so as you think about certain things, your awareness expands to include them, and it comes into your knowing. Don't feel bound by your inability to move through space. Reality is flexible, and the more you realize it, the more free you become. Everything is already within your mind. Become aware of the source of the light.
Sure.
Ask within your mind where your body is. The you that was in bed.
I don't think I'm there.
Become aware of where you are. You actually don't have to travel physically anywhere. Your awareness will be just drawn to that information.
But I don't really sense it anywhere.
Do you sense that it's not in the house?
Yeah, it's not in the house. But I can't really feel like where it would be.
Is it on the planet?
I think so.
So you're sensing things. I want you to stay with that knowing that you're getting answers. So follow that sense. If it's on the planet, is it on the surface or in space?
It's higher up. It's like higher up than where I'm right now.
Excellent. So follow that sense.
It's really bright. Like wherever it is, it's like so bright, but I can't really look.
You don't have to look. It's just awareness, and it's all there available for you. So just allow yourself to reach within awareness for that brightness. Is that a physical place?
I think so.
Okay. It will begin to take shape within your mind.
Just like around.
Is it located in space?
Just like up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Close to the physical surface of the planet?
I think so, like above the building.
So it's hovering above?
Yeah.
And is that the source of light in your room?
I think so.
Okay. And as you become aware of this object, just begin to define it a little bit more. Other than it being round, what else can you sense about it?
There's like a bubble on the top and on the bottom. Kind of like just metal, like metallic. But it's no noise.
And how big is it, do you think?
It's probably like the same footprint the house would be. That size, but not that tall.
That wide?
Yeah.
So it has lights that are very bright?
Yeah. It seems like you just see light, but then I can also kind of see it. Like it would look if the light wasn't on.
See if you can find yourself on the inside of that object as you continue to search for your body.
It seems like that's where I am.
Okay. And you can extend your awareness. So I want you to become aware of what is inside that, I assume, craft.
It's like empty. But all around is just all these controls. There's really no one in it, just me.
Move around that craft and tell me what else you find. Is it just one space with the controls?
Yeah. And you can't really see out. It's just like no windows.
So for a craft that is the size of a house, it must be one huge room of controls.
Well, I guess wherever I'm at is smaller, so it must be bigger.
Okay. What types of controls do you notice?
It kind of looks like little screens, buttons, and levers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, though.
Do you notice any writing anywhere at all?
I don't really see any writing. It seems like it's off. Like whatever room I'm in, it's off.
Is there any light in it?
I can just see kind of one way.
What do you mean one way?
I can't really see behind me.
That's all right. Just know that your awareness can bring information from all sides. And if you think about what's behind you, you'll be able to know it without physically turning. So in fact, you can get a 360 view of the space. What shape is the room?
It's round.
Is there anything else in it that is of significance or of interest? So I'd like you to exit that space and see what else you find.
I feel like there is a door that you could go out and then you could go into the other area. There's like a lot of instruments and stuff like that. No clutter or stuff on the floor. Just everything's on the walls.
Is it attached to the walls?
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of interfaced in or something. I feel like there's a hallway.
Are there other rooms?
I think so. I think there's other spaces. I can see the hallway, but I can't really see anything other than that. I feel like there is other things on the thing, but it's not like people.
So what other things do you notice?
They look like giant bugs.
Can you describe them a little more?
One looks like praying mantis, like the big eyes, but the other one's kind of short, like with a tail.
What kind of tail?
Almost like a lion tail. You know how they can like hold it up and it's got like a big bunch of hair at the end?
But the body looks like a bug?
The shorter one looks like a lion that's standing up, like a kid in a lion costume.
And tell me about the praying mantis one.
It's like taller than me, but not real tall. They don't seem mean or anything. They're just like doing their job or something. The little lion's like facing all these buttons. He's kind of got to work over here. He's not paying any attention to me. But the praying mantis is kind of like a doctor hovering over you, you know.
Does it actually look like a praying mantis?
I can kind of just see the face. I feel like it has hands because it's got a clipboard. But I can't really see. I feel like maybe wherever I'm sitting, I can see down, but I can't see around.
So are you still hovering around with your awareness, or have you found your body?
I think I'm in my body, and I think I'm on a table or sitting.
Connect with that room and just grow your awareness about where your body is.
So it's like a stainless steel table, but I don't really feel cold or like I'm in any trouble.
Are you lying down or sitting?
I think I'm lying down, but I can see this hallway, so maybe I'm propped up.
And are you strapped in any way?
I don't think so. I don't feel like I'm all the way with it, like super drunk or something. You kind of know where you're at, but you kind of don't know where you're at.
You're drowsy.
Yeah. So I don't have all my faculties here. It's real shaded, and it just seems like a very sterile and very clean environment.
And what you're going to notice is that you have the ability to get information from 360 degrees around you, beyond your awareness as a human. So your human consciousness may feel very drowsy, but your awareness right now will be quite alert and aware. And so you will be able to become aware of the entire room and see what is happening there all around you.
The walls are just covered with all of this stuff. It looks like maybe medical stuff or technology stuff, but nothing really seems to be going on. It's kind of like equipment that you have but you're not using.
And who's in the room beside you?
So in this room is the praying mantis person. It's just these walls and me and this bug thing.
Do you sense that it has gender?
It almost seems like it's male. It's got like a white coat on.
So we'll call it male for now. So is he alone there, or is somebody there with him?
I think he's alone.
Okay, and what is he doing?
Just kind of looking at me.
And where is he standing in relation to you?
Kind of over my right shoulder. Sometimes comes in front of me, but more behind me.
And does he interact with you in any way?
It's just kind of observing.
And we're going to see if we can communicate with him now. Ask him if we can ask him questions, and he will hear you and respond.
I feel like it seems okay, but I'm not hearing anything.
That's all right, because with him you probably would be able to communicate telepathically. So you're just looking for a reaction, an acknowledgement.
Yeah, he seems friendly.
Good. So we're going to ask him why you are there. And then I want you to receive a response from him and just tell me what you get.
Just study.
And what are they studying?
People.
What is it that they want to know about people?
Just our biology.
Why is it significant to them?
Because we die really young. They want to know why we have short lives. We're very short-lived.
What is their lifespan?
Much longer.
And what is their intention in studying this?
Almost like they want to know, and they could maybe help us make it longer.
Is that their intention, to help?
I think so. It doesn't seem nasty in any way. It kind of seems like how you would just pick a dolphin out of the ocean and start doing this to it. It's just like, here's one, and we don't have any ill intent, but they also really don't want to get to know yet. This is just the job.
So I want to ask him, through you, how they actually go about studying our biology. What do they do to you?
I just keep getting our cells. Something to do with our cells. But it's not invasive. They don't really need to poke you or do anything.
How do they get their information?
It's kind of like scanning.
Okay. And do you see their scanning equipment, or how do they scan you?
I think it's all the stuff that they have.
On the wall?
Yeah, but I don't see any equipment around me. Everything's just on the walls.
Is that automatically doing the scanning, or they have to pick it up to use it?
I don't think they have to pick it up. I think it's just kind of doing its own thing.
So it's constantly collecting data?
I think so. Because it kind of seems like some of it is off. Like you can feel like a dead space. Like how when a machine is off, there's just no energy to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then other parts, you can feel there's like energy coming from some of it. But there's nothing really touching me.
And I want to ask him how long he has been doing this, working with humans.
It seems like forever.
And how long has he been working with you?
I think this was the first time.
Why did they choose you?
Just right place, right time. That just like pops right into your head.
Is there any criteria to how they select the people that they study?
I think younger is better.
What is the age group that they work with?
It seems like maybe toddlers all the way up to 25, 26.
I want him to tell you how his work is progressing. What are they discovering? Just allow him to speak through you. Whatever he says will come out of your mouth.
We're not sure.
What is it that you're exploring now?
Anti-aging, to help with the aging.
How long have you been working on this particular issue?
It seems like this is a more recent project. Like they didn't really care before, but they're starting to kind of care now.
I wonder if you can ask him where they're from.
The stars.
Is there a particular planet?
It shows a star like really, really, really far away. It wouldn't really be on a map because it would just be so far out.
Is it in our galaxy?
I don't think so, no.
I wonder if this time when they picked Camille up and scanned her and got information was the only time, or if it's a sequence of meetings.
I can see myself outside at my house now when I was a little kid. Like maybe it has happened again or before when I was young.
So I want to talk directly to this being. Is that okay with him?
I think so, yeah.
I want you to make it clear to us if you have had other interactions with Camille. If you have been observing her over time, or if this is a one-time meeting.
Yes. Before.
How old was she at that time?
Maybe 5 or 6.
And where did it take place?
Annish Road, where I grew up.
What happened?
I just feel like levitating off the ground. I'm out in the yard and then just up. Just like a vacuum.
And where do you find yourself?
A bigger ship, much bigger. With like a lot of windows.
And where do you find yourself on that ship?
The floor looks like a door, but it's like a bunch of pieces and they all fit together, but in a circle. And I'm standing on that. That's how I got in. Like that opened up. And it's a really big room, like huge.
And what is in that room?
Gray walls, but they're wavy. They're smooth. And then they're like curved at the top.
Do you mean that there are no straight edges between the walls and the ceiling?
Yeah, maybe like loops around. And then I can see a bunch of like lights. So this is maybe a receiving area. It seems like there's somebody or something with me.
Who's that?
It looks like, is it Star Wars where they have the stormtroopers?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a stormtrooper. And it's taking me into a room with light. But the room's like way smaller.
Is it wearing like a helmet and sort of protective gear?
Yeah, like all covered in hard plastic.
Does it seem like a machine or a being?
It seems more like a machine.
So what's in that room?
I just see like a bare floor. I don't have any shoes on. I'm barefoot.
Did you have shoes on before you started levitating?
I don't think so. And it's like trying to take me in there. But I'm just going. Like I'm not afraid.
Have you been there before? Are you familiar with this place?
I mean, I seem more comfortable with this place than the other place. This place seems like I'm going to the doctor for a checkup. Like I've maybe been there before, and I kind of know where to go. They don't have to pull me or drag me.
You know the routine.
Yeah.
So just become aware of why you feel that way.
It feels like a base, and it periodically stops at different places, and it picks up people. Like it's time for your checkup. So it will come to you. You just go up there, and it doesn't seem malicious. It just seems like this is pretty normal.
And do you have a sense that you've done this before?
Yeah.
Once, many times?
5 or 6, I feel like.
So go ahead and reach your destination. Where you're heading.
There's like tables off to the one side, and there's different people or different things on the table, like different beings. It doesn't seem like it's people, but some of them are people.
So describe to me what or whom you're seeing.
So it looks like a row of metal tables, but they're on wheels. And then there's beings laying on the table, but I don't really think they're awake. They're just kind of laying there. I don't think they're dead. And then there's something behind these tables. It looks like at school, they open the window for the lunch when the lunch is ready. Mm-hmm. Like you might pass through there because it's kind of the same level as the table. But then that will close again. So
are you on the inside where the lunch is served, or are you on the outside where you pick up the lunch?
I'm on the outside. So like the waiting area where you would like sit down and eat your lunch.
Okay. And what's on the inside?
I think the inside is where all the stuff goes on. It just seems like a lot of medical stuff. Like there's a lot of equipment. But this place has equipment on the floor. It's more like a regular doctor's, where they would scoot something up to you.
Is anybody else waiting with you in that area?
No, I think I'm by myself now. But like I'm just waiting for my turn. But there's just these other beings, and I think they're done. Whatever they're supposed to do, they've already done. Like they're just waiting to wake up.
Are they human?
Some of them are human, and some of them look like stuff I've really never even seen before. Like one looks like just like some sort of a pink blob.
Does it have a face?
Just like a blob.
What are some of the others?
The other ones, it's got eyes like crustaceans. You know how they're not really in the body, they're on top. But the thing, they're laying down, so I can't really see.
Except that you can actually find your awareness coming closer to them. And you can really take a good look at them.
I mean, they're wearing clothes, kind of like denim. And for some reason, there's like something that has like a red shirt on. And I feel like in the room where all this stuff is going on, there's like something with a bunch of arms that runs all of it.
So when it's your time, you're going to get inside there, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else of interest that you can tell me in this waiting area?
It's pretty sterile, like a doctor's office. Pretty basic. This looks more like flat walls, like we would have at a doctor's office.
So the beings that are sleeping, when they wake up, what happens to them?
I think they just go back out that hole at the bottom of the ship, and that's how you get back down.
And they do it on their own, or is somebody accompanying them?
I think that's what that stormtrooper does. That's kind of his job. He escorts in and escorts out.
So is he there now, waiting for them to wake up?
No, I can't see him.
Okay, he's just going to show up when they wake up?
Yeah, that's just like his only thing that he does.
Okay, gotcha. So go ahead and allow it to be your time to go inside. And tell me what happens.
I'm kind of like looking down, and I can just see I'm on a table. But I don't think they really stick anything in me. I don't see any invasive stuff going on. It's more like scanning.
So who else is in the room beside you?
There's this thing that has all these arms, and it kind of like runs all the equipment. And then there's something else, but I can't really get a feel for what it looks like. It's just, I know it's there. But it's like this big round room. The whole room is like a ball. really, really big, maybe 2 stories tall, or maybe like a story and a half tall. And this thing, it looks almost like an octopus. It's got all these arms and it does all the things, but it doesn't really pay attention to the person. It's just with the equipment. And then this other thing is more focused on me, but I don't feel scared or anything. It's just kind of like you're going in for a checkup. They don't really seem to touch me in any sort of way. So I don't really know what's going on.
So these beings, the octopus and the other that's paying attention to you, are they sentient beings or are they machines?
I think they're both sentient beings. I think the octopus doesn't really care. Like, this is just what he does.
So can you tell me more about what they look like?
The octopus is like a light pink color, but it's not really like an octopus. It's maybe like a ball that has all these, and they kind of look like tentacles, but I don't think they have those suction cup things on it. Mm-hmm. And then they're just kind of coming out of the bottom.
Is the ball the head or is it the body?
I think it's the body. But I feel like now that I've gotten in this room, things are starting to get fuzzy. I feel like I was awake up until I got in this room, and now I'm starting to fade out. Like this other thing, it doesn't really seem to have a shape. It's just big.
Well, I want you to just allow that part of you that falls asleep to go to sleep. But there is another part of you that will remain very alert and aware. And it's almost like you'll be able to float out of your body and be very aware of everything that is happening. So tell me about the other being in the room, not the octopus.
Okay, so this one has like a white coat on and a stethoscope. And it almost looks like a bear. It's really hairy, but it's standing up, but it's really big. And there's all these instruments just everywhere, just all sorts of stuff. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. There's a lot of stuff on the walls, but then there's stuff on the floor here too. And it's all stainless steel looking stuff. And the octopus is on a higher level. Maybe I'm on the floor, and then there's stairs that go up, and he's up there with all of the instrumentation. And you don't need like 5 people because he can reach over to whatever he needs to do. But this other thing is just kind of hovering around me. I don't really know what its function is other than observing.
So once again, you will be able to establish contact with them telepathically, and you will notice them responding to you or reacting. And you can ask them if they can help you understand what's happening and help clarify what they're doing.
It's your checkup.
What are they checking on?
How I'm growing, how I'm doing.
Why are they monitoring that?
I'm just a part of the program.
And what is the program?
Monitoring. They monitor on these cycles.
Explain that better.
They want to see some sort of cycle throughout with all these people because we don't live very long. So they can track all this in a cycle. So
it is working with the same issue, longevity of humans?
The other one, it was like aging. But this one I don't get aging, I get tracking, like data collection.
And what is the purpose of this data collection?
Monitoring to see if anything is going to change with us. Or if pretty much this is how we're going to be.
Why do they want to know?
Is there something with children being born at a more frequent rate that have like deeper abilities?
What kind of abilities?
Telepathy or stuff that humans don't normally have. So they want to know, is that going to link together or something? Because I guess it's just popping out randomly and they don't know why.
So are they monitoring biological evolution or is it evolution of consciousness?
Definitely always monitoring our bodies. But this is like a little bit more, there's something about abilities. It's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, ask them.
I think they think it's a bad thing.
What is?
If we're getting abilities. Like maybe we're not ready for all that right now. It might be a little bit too much.
So what is their ultimate purpose in studying this?
I feel like they knew it was going to happen, but it happened faster than what they thought it would. So now they're worried that it's coming on too strong, too fast. We're not quite ready.
So again, what is their ultimate purpose?
I think they want to control that somehow.
I want to ask them directly. What is the purpose of this work that you're doing? What are you trying to accomplish? Who will it benefit?
We both would benefit.
How would humans benefit?
Because we wouldn't die so young. We could live longer.
So ultimately you work on human evolution?
Yes.
So what are the abilities that you're concerned about that came on too quickly?
Intelligence. Like really super smart. Maybe we don't quite know what to do with that.
Are you trying to adjust it in some way or just monitor it?
I think just monitoring it. I think that they might have introduced this to begin with, and they didn't know how it would play out, like any other experiment. It didn't really go sideways, it just went a little bit faster.
So where are they seeing this super intelligence showing up?
Newborns. You're born with it.
And in what way do they think it may be dangerous or inappropriate?
If you don't know how to handle it.
Oh, I see. So they are just monitoring, they're still not going to do anything?
No, I don't think they're going to intervene at all. They don't really see that that's necessary. They just want to monitor it in case it does get bad where they would have to step in. But because we have short lives, they don't really think it will be like a monster problem.
And they said that it would also benefit them. In what way would it benefit them?
I think because they're the ones that introduced it, I think it's just an experiment. It doesn't seem malicious. It does seem manipulative. It's like they don't really want to say what the purpose is, for sure.
As I talk to whoever has higher ranking or higher ability to provide information, give me a clear answer about what the purpose of this is and why you're involved in it.
Control.
And what are you trying to control?
I think we're kind of like rats, where we breed really quickly. So if you want to test something, you want to test it here because we turn over quick.
And what are they testing in particular?
Something about making life longer.
Is that what you're trying to do for humans, or is that what you're trying to do for yourselves? Because you seem to have a longer lifespan to begin with.
For both.
Now, there seems to be a correlation, perhaps, between longevity and level of consciousness.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that what you're studying?
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
The older you are, you're just wiser, and so you can then understand it. But our lives, it's like we only have like a couple good years to really hit the sweet spot where we'd figure that out, and we just really don't, because it's just so short. It's like you don't even notice it's there.
Are you talking about human life?
Yeah, humans. It's just too short. It's like driving over a mud puddle. You just don't even really notice it. But for them, they have to notice it, because it's so big.
The goal then to extend the life of humans and influence the level of consciousness, or is it just purely to extend the biological life?
Consciousness would be really good. Extending the life, but just a little bit, because we would never really get to their level. So they don't really want us to live very long, because it would just be kind of a mess. But if we could be more conscious, it would be okay. But we couldn't have longer lives with no consciousness. No, that wouldn't work. No.
Right. So would they acknowledge that human consciousness is evolving along with the biological life?
Yes. Kids are okay. Kids are pretty good with it. But then when we get to adults, we kind of shut it off. We need to continue on with that going forward.
And I don't even mean within a span of a human life, but human consciousness as a whole on the planet.
It seems to be picking up recently, but it's still slow. It's steady. It's always kind of been steady. But there does seem to be something recently with all these children. But it should be more. It should be more.
So can they tell us what is involved in this regular checkup?
It's just kind of like TV. They can watch us like TV. But I wouldn't understand the rest of it.
So I'm going to ask them if some of the information can be presented to you in a way that is comprehensible, or maybe in very broad terms. What is the type of data that they collect?
The cells. Something to do with the cells and under the microscope. Some sort of testing. They just keep testing the cells with a different substance. And then they try like another substance. And then they try another substance. And it seems to be something you can put on the cell.
So they're looking at the effect of different substances on the cell?
It's a liquid.
Okay. And what effect are they looking for, or what are they testing?
It will somehow do something to the cell. Something with oxygen.
Okay. You can clarify it further.
How a bubble holds oxygen. How you make a bubble. They just keep showing this microscope with bubbling.
Is the goal to hold the oxygen within the cell?
I think so. You kind of want the long-lasting bubble.
Okay. So they're looking for a liquid that can create a long-lasting bubble?
Yeah.
Okay. And the liquids that they're testing, are there substances that we know on Earth?
No, I don't think so. That's something that they brought with them.
Are they having any success with any of the substances?
I don't think so. I think it has it stabilized.
And do they find that it differs between people?
It's the same for humans, but on different species it's different.
What other species do they work with?
That pink blob. And it looks like an alligator, but it's wearing clothes.
So it seems like all the species that we have met here kind of have animal appearance. Are there any humanoid races that they work with?
Not that I see.
And with other species, is it the same purpose? The work is the same?
No, this is like an independent lab. They have kind of their own thing going on.
So the work that they do with those other species is different from what they do with humans?
On this ship it's all the same. But like another ship would have another thing.
But on this ship they work with this longevity and consciousness?
Yes. Across the species.
Mm-hmm. And the species that they work with, are they all at a rather low level of consciousness?
I think so, yeah.
I'd like to know why they put you in a sleep state if all they're doing is scanning, so there's no invasive procedures.
Just so we won't remember or be scared.
Do they have any connection with any of the subjects, with you, for example, or are you all just test subjects here?
Test subjects, and I think it ends at like a certain age. You kind of age out.
And I want them to tell us when they started working with you.
I'm seeing my mother when she was pregnant.
What happened?
I'm just seeing like the fetus.
Were they working with the fetus?
It's like nobody really wants to say.
Well, I asked them to be very open since they are using humans as test subjects. I think they owe us a more collaborative response. So please tell us when this relationship started and how it progressed.
They don't want to say.
Is there a reason why you don't want to say?
It would just be way too confusing. This is maybe rolled over from another lifetime.
So move to the end of that procedure and find yourself awakening from it. And as you come back to your senses, what do you see?
It's like I know right where to go. I just go right back to the waiting room. And I just sit down in a chair and I have a sucker and I'm just waiting.
What are you waiting for?
To go back home.
So what happens next?
It's kind of like a light beam and it just slowly drops you right down. And then you're back.
Any time passes on Earth while you were gone, or do you return into the same moment?
It was really dark when they picked me up, and it's still really dark. So I don't think that anything changed.
So when it was dark, was it just evening or middle of the night?
Middle of the night.
And you were outside barefoot in the middle of the night?
I walked outside.
Just become aware of what happened. Why did you walk outside?
I used to sleepwalk. They told me to come outside.
And they drop you off outside as well?
Same exact spot.
Okay, and then what do you do?
Just went right back in the house. Went back to bed.
And fall asleep?
Yeah.
And then when you wake up, do you have any awareness and memory of what happened?
No. None whatsoever.
Now I want you to travel back to that day in 2006 and become aware of how that event started.
I didn't walk. I floated. I just went right through the wall. So this was different. The other ones, I would walk. But this one, it was just like sucking right out of the bed. That's what was so terrifying. It was different. These are like different people or something. They're not really part of the same team as the other ones.
So have you done a number of visits with the other people on the bigger ship?
The bigger ship, yeah, that's the one I've been to multiple times. But this other one, this hadn't happened in a really long time. It was, I think, like a one-off, you know?
What's the initial thing that starts the event?
I think I would lift up, and then you just go through the wall. It's like there's just nothing really there, and then you just floating.
Did they call to you, or was there any presence in the room with you?
I don't know. It was just like a process that just started. It was like automatic.
Okay. And when they return you back?
Same deal. Just boom, boom. Very mechanical.
And when you returned back, did you fall asleep, or was there a moment of conscious awareness?
I think as I was coming back, I woke up. I was supposed to just go right into sleep, but as soon as my body hit the bed, I woke up. I was like, why was I not already in the bed? And that's when I realized I was up. Like you're levitating, but then when you come back to settle, that motion, I knew that shouldn't have been happening. It was like a roller coaster.
So is that the conscious memory that you retained?
Yeah. You know, like when you go over a hill and your stomach drops out? Mm-hmm. It was like that feeling, and that's what propelled me awake.
So now I'm going to ask a question that's directed to any of the entities that we have just visited, because they can still hear me and be aware of my questions and they can respond. So Camille has been seeing lights that almost appear when she calls to them or when she expects them to show up. I know that you're not monitoring her physically anymore because she has aged out, but is there an ongoing communication or interaction with her? And if you have anything to do with those lights, and tell me who responds.
She sees the lights. There's other people who see them too. It's like a form of communication in terms of waking you up. The people that are smart enough to figure it out are going to figure it out. So we just subtly communicate.
Who is speaking right now?
I don't know.
Is it one of the entities that she has interacted with on the ships?
No.
Someone else?
Yeah.
Is it a collective or an individual?
I don't think it's one person. It's like one voice, but you couldn't really put it to one thing. It's multiple things.
So are those lights purposeful? Do they have a specific purpose or intention?
To get people thinking.
What do you want people to think about?
Expanding the mind to know that not everything is quite as real as what it appears to be, and that there's a lot of other stuff that you just can't really know, but it's there, and people need to start thinking.
So it's just expanding awareness beyond what we consider real and physical?
Yeah, it's not really like a message. It's not really like do this or do that. It's kind of like you start to see weird things, and then you see weird things, and then it's not going to be as awful when you see weird things. Not like you need to get used to seeing weird things, but that weird things don't have to be scary or too much for you to handle because you saw something weird but nothing bad happened. People have to start thinking.
Okay. So is there any other role that Camille is playing in this program, or is she done with it in this life?
She's smart, but done for right now.
What do you mean by she's smart? Why is that significant?
She's okay with being uncomfortable or not always knowing, and still that curiosity, kind of like a kid.
So you're not referring to just intellectual development, it's more of flexibility and openness in terms of consciousness?
That would be better, yeah.
Is it expected that in the next incarnation she might participate in the same type of program?
She might. We don't know yet.
When is that decision made?
Depends on how everything's going to go.
With your research, with humans, or with her personal life plan?
With humans.
Now I want all of the images to fade away, and I'm going to call forward Camille's higher consciousness and ask permission to ask a few questions. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really get to look at any of the past lives that Camille has experienced, but this connection and interaction with alien beings has been important to her. I want to ask if you can shed any additional light on that interaction and kind of take her to a higher perspective on this so she can see a longer term unfoldment of this relationship.
I want to make it better. I want to help. People gotta open their minds a little bit here, and I want to be a part of that.
So that kind of takes us to the life purpose. What is the purpose for her life right now? Asked Camille.
To be a good example with the farming, to be more self-sufficient, and that you can do a lot of this stuff yourself. And there's probably a lot of other things that we just are dismissive of that could maybe help us, but it's like we just shut the TV off. We just don't want to watch it. So we have to get involved.
From the soul perspective, what is it that you want Camille to experience, or what insight to gain?
She has to relax more and not be so worried about all this all the time. It's getting to be a little too much. It's painful in some weird way.
What is?
That things are not really happening as fast as she would like them to happen. And so it's like a problem. But not really. You just gotta calm down. But she's really struggling with all that.
I'm getting the sense that the work that she's doing with the alien races on evolution of consciousness, that's partly her purpose here in a human body as well. Is she hoping to help the evolution of consciousness, or are you talking about something else?
No, the consciousness.
So, what did you want her to get out of this life experience?
Leading by example.
Is she in line with that purpose? Is she making progress, or does she need to make any adjustments?
She's too closed off. There's just not enough people.
That she can lead by example?
Yeah, she shuts everybody off.
So what would be better for her?
Being confident and knowing and then living, and then that's just what's going to show. It doesn't have to be a plan so much as just be comfortable.
How can she become more comfortable?
Listening, communicating, and letting go of pain, anger, and just stepping out of her comfort zone a little bit.
Now when you say listening and communicating, do you mean with you, the higher consciousness, or the spirit guides, or with other human beings?
I think that it's all very scattered is the problem. There's like too many things going on. She doesn't really know where to land with it. And that's why there's so much disconnect. It's just like, how do you put all this together and make it make sense?
So why don't you give her guidance now? Share some wisdom with her that it would be undeniable to her that it's coming from you.
Letting the past go and also letting the future go. And just living right now and not letting it get so jumbled up where it can't be thought out. You don't have the capacity to think all these avenues at once. So you have to pick a few and focus there, and not all of these things at once. It's too much.
Do you have guidance for her on which few things to focus on?
Healing. That has to be first.
Should she work on emotional healing more than mental at this point?
Yeah, for sure. The childhood stuff that needs to get handled.
What is another area that she might focus on?
Her confidence.
What can you tell her about herself that can build that confidence?
You've accomplished a lot of things, but you don't carry that with you, so you don't know it, but it's there.
Can you give her some guidance on her path? Is farming a good direction for her?
Yes.
Is there an adjustment that she needs to make? A new path to pursue to make it more effective or profitable or satisfying?
Maybe. Not quite yet. Just give it a little more time. She just needs to hold right now and just keep doing what she's doing. But there may or may not be a change. It would depend on some other things.
What are the things?
Events that may or may not happen that are going to drive those decisions. But it's out of her control. She just has to wait.
Can you give her a time frame of this waiting period?
No.
Okay. I want to ask something that, depending on what the answer is, we may not have a lot of time for, but I just want to check in. Camille has a lot of guilt that she carries with her. And I want to ask if that's something that you can pinpoint why that is, or if it goes into a pattern of past lives, then we may delay it and explore it at another time.
In her eyes, she's failed, but she's not done yet. So the failure isn't really a failure because she has another shot, but maybe not in this life.
You mean that she has failed not in this life?
Yes. It was a significant failure.
When you say in her eyes she failed, are you referring to something that happened before this life, or she feels that way about this life?
It wasn't in this life. She carries it with her. It's there. She doesn't know how to get rid of it.
Okay. Would it be beneficial for her to have another session where we explore those past life experiences?
Yeah, she needs to get rid of it. It needs to go.
Can you tell me if her ex-husband, mother, or maybe even stepfather were part of that guilt pattern in previous lives?
Her mother.
So that's what she's working out with her.
Yeah.
Camille is looking forward to having other romantic relationships in her life. Are there things that are holding her back? Is there any guidance that you can give her about that?
She should keep with the lights for now.
What do you mean by that?
Trying to communicate and show other people that. Bring them out to her farm and show them that. Ask them questions. What do they think that might be? She doesn't have to provide any answers. She just has to show it.
And how is that going to help her? Or what purpose is that going to serve?
To start getting people to think.
So is that going to help her find a romantic relationship in any way?
It will bring new people into her life.
So it sounds like she just needs to reach out more and become more available to people.
She can be open with these experiences. She doesn't have to hide that.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask if you have any last message for her for the moment to take with her. If you do, just go ahead and speak directly to her.
You're capable of really amazing things. You just have to be open to that and not be so afraid of it. You don't have to be afraid of being different. It's just who you are.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask the higher consciousness to recede to where it belongs with much love and thanks for the help and information that it has given Camille today. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you click on the bell, you will be notified of any of my future postings. Thank you. Bye.